Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. What, how you doing, pal? Kev, how you doing, mate? So, what's going on here? We have got some news coming up. We have had some earlier, around about 1:30. Didn't do a great deal. It's been quite spiky. I think that was about it, wasn't it? So, yeah, didn't really do much. Came down, pushed up, so nothing really. Ionis, how you doing? No ads, that was nice. No ads. You get ads, do you? Second entry long triggered. Not interested in this. This I kind of like this channel actually. We've had a touch here, and it's fitting along the top end, so I kind of like it. Let's have a look. Indy, how you doing? Every day when you start to hear ads, not today. Did you get that sort of Indian guy from the UK, from London, telling you everybody else's charts don't work and you've got to use order flow? Yeah, I get him sometimes. He fries your brain, doesn't he? He does. He's just moved to Dubai. It's popped up yesterday. He's done a video from Dubai. He's trying to encourage his wife. FX Pro, I don't know. Oh, right, okay, yeah. No, I get this Indian guy, I do. Ex-banker, I think. He's posted a video from Dubai. He's gone over to Dubai for a month or two, and he's trying to encourage his wife to go over there. You haven't seen him. What's his name? I don't know if it'll come up on my YouTube. Let's hold on. He's okay, actually. He's okay. I think he got annoying because he used to pop up on every video, but that's probably not just down to him, is it? I'm not subscribed to him, so he just pops up. Tell you what, it'll be in my history, won't it? Let's have a look. I'll show you him. Can't find it now. When did I watch him? 3 days ago. Where are we? Okay, market opens. Has had a bit of a push up. Okay, fair enough. Oh, that's the guy there. That's him there. That's the guy. He's from the UK. He's a British guy. What's that one? Living in Dubai. Yeah, that's the one. He's okay, actually. He's okay. He clearly knows what he's doing. He's worked for, I think he's worked for some sort of Citibank somewhere. I don't know which bank. Okay. Market is literally just open. So, leg down. There is a second entry long here, but I'm not a fan of that. I'd like to see 2 legs because it's below the midline there. So that's what's kept me out of that trade. And obviously you've got the open. Now it might push up. It's a pretty bullish market, but we could have a leg and a leg. See, I don't like the way it has struggled under that midline. So, hey Sam, how you doing, bud? How you doing? Dubai being your dream? Yeah, whether it'll ever happen or not, I don't know. But I'd like to maybe just go there for something like if I had my choice, I'd go there for maybe 3 to 5 years. Just for a bit of excitement, a bit of fun, you know what I mean? Just to say you've done it, something to tell the grandkids, later on down the line. And then maybe just save over there, have a bit of fun, save like mad, come over here and buy a house. I don't know. Whether it'll ever happen, I don't know. But I do know a couple of guys who've done it. But obviously you've got the added bonus of the tax-free over there. It's the third safest place to world in the live. The third safest place in the world to live, which surprised me actually, being in the Middle East. And obviously tax-free. That's a biggie. That's a biggie. If you're earning sort of, I know over here, this guy, Joe, I know, well, I don't speak too much now, but He used to earn 300,000. Was it 350,000 a year, something like that? And he used to pay 180,000 a year in tax, something like that. And he lived over there with his girlfriend at the time, and he used to live wealthily, by just the amount of money he was paying for tax in the UK. So he was a teacher initially, went over there for 12 months, bunch of years ago. And that's, he had like a 12-year contract over there. Him and his girlfriend, he was a teacher. And then he came back, learned to trade. And there he goes. I haven't heard from him since middle of the year, I think. So let's have a look. Whether it'll ever happen or not, I don't know. I mean, I certainly think I'm going to be earning some decent money in the not so distant future. I'm confident of that. But I've got a 15-year-old daughter who's really strong-minded, so I don't know whether she'll let me, in all fairness. So this is really bullish. So I'm just having a look on the daily. I had my feeling it was going to do that. So obviously we had this downtrend overshooting, a strong push-up, trapped them short, pushed up, we had a couple legs up. And we've gone a bit sideways, had another push-up, gone a bit sideways, and obviously... this morning it started to take off, so I wouldn't be shocked if we get a decent run today. I mean, in all fairness, even if it goes up to here, it's 30 points. It's a massive, it's quite a large amount on the 2000 tick chart. So I wouldn't be surprised if we had a good push. I had a feeling we were going to do some up stuff based on what I was looking at. So what I'd like to see now we're getting right to the top. Is a 2 legs of correction and then another channel which may turn into a slightly bigger one. So far so good. It's showing me all the good signs. Touch here, and you can clearly see it there. It's clearly fitting really nicely along that top and riding on that midline, under it a bit, but then obviously it's bullish enough it carried on. So fingers crossed. But it's certainly shown me all the right signs. So we'll just have to see. Keep an eye on it and see how we get on. But yeah, I did look at that, but the trouble is, it's a bit early. See, if you look at this, all this lot closed above that midline. This closed below it, so you don't know whether it's going to trap you and then come down to this side. And obviously we got the open, so it's just a bit too dangerous taking that. It obviously worked, but it doesn't necessarily mean it was an ideal time or place to take it. So we'll see. Let's have a look. See the order line decorator indicator. You have asked about the last week. If the currency sign on yours is there. Let's have a look. Say that again. See the order line decorator indicator. Yeah, you have, and I asked about last week. Is the currency in pounds instead of dollars? I've asked. I don't know, mate. I don't know. Let's have a look. Does it give the option? I asked you what indicator you were using. You showed tick value and amounts. I don't know. Currencies in pounds. Is it really? I don't know. Yeah, I thought everything was in dollars. That's strange, isn't it? There's nothing anywhere that says you can change the currency. It's got currency, but that's unusual. That you do want to know, though. You kind of know. See, for you guys in the US, it's normal for you. But But changing it to pounds, it seemed odd to me because I'm that used to dollars now. Half the time now, if my wife says how much we got in the bank, I say $1,650. You know, I'm that used to saying dollars all the time. I use dollars over here. So it is weird. I don't know that. Percentage of account value, I don't know. This is pounds, I've realised it. Yeah. I don't know. No, I don't know. You might have to drop me an email there, mate, and ask. It's unusual, that. Okay, so this to me now is a bit of an overshoot, and I'm confident it's an overshoot because it's touching that nice. So I would expect now either a reversal or a correction. Now I'm thinking correction. As I mentioned earlier, I was looking for a correction, leg, and then something higher. So it does look like we could be a really bullish day. I mean, that candle on the daily is looking like it's really going to take off, doesn't it? So that's a good sign. So what we need now is a correction. Yes, something like that. Something like that, and then off like that. But and I'm going to get in here, and I'm going to get out. Here. And that's going to make me 55 points. I've decided. Wouldn't it be nice? 55 points. I'm trying to think what's the most I've ever made, actually. Keep it in mind, we've got that news coming up. 24 points, I think, is the most I've made. Ever, I think, on a runner. I tend to lose my bottle. Mind you, to be fair, not on a live account, not on a PA account, that's on an evaluation. 24 points. But you guys know me, I'd rather go in at 10 contracts and go for 3 ticks. 24 points is the most I've ever made, yeah. It's not a lot, actually, to be fair. I remember it was on a range day. It was doing this, and I got in here, and it was on an evaluation, and I just left it, and it came right the way down at the bottom. But I am trying to note now. I'm trying to make a little note of the trades I take and what happened. How many extra points did they go for? And I'm just trying to build a pattern. Because if you can, you know, if I go for an average of 2 points and 90% of the trades I take go for 4 or more, obviously there's a calculation there which tells you whether you're better off going for a standard 4 and leaving it. Because obviously some people risk 1, go for 2 on everything, but then they may have like a 60% win rate. You know, it's not so much about your win percentage. It's obviously a lot to do with your risk to reward, isn't it? That's the most important. So I'm just trying to make a mental note. I say mental note. I make a physical note, I write it down, but I'm just trying to work out whether, you know, I am best off to stick with 2 points or whether I'm best off going for a fixed 4 and just leaving it or what. But obviously it depends. I mean, you know, that little bit yesterday that was going sideways was doing it in a 4 1/4, you know, point top to bottom. But I mean, if you're coming into a trade here from a breakout, you know, theoretically you've only got a possibility a tick below there of you know, so many points. Obviously that's a little bit bigger, but it was what was it? It was about 4 points. So yeah, so I mean, if you come in there, move you bastard. Why won't that move? If you come in there, you know, you haven't. You know what I mean. Going for 4 points, it's just not going to work, is it? So I'm rambling on a bit now. Let's get rid of this shit. What's going on here? Okay, so overshoot, second entry long, risky in my opinion. I mean, even if there's a channel there, which there could be, we're out of this anyway. We're in that top domain, so I'm not taking that. Now, it is a bullish market. It may work, but it's way too far for the EMA, and after an overshoot, just can't do it. Would you build a cushion and trade 2 contracts, 1 being a runner? I thought about that before. The odd person does, but I know Mac always talks about only risk 25% of your profit. Now, what I will say is when I see Thomas Wade, people like that taking runners, so many times I'll see the market move 3, 4 or 5 points and come back and stop him out for break even. So, for me, no. I agree with that 25%. If I could trade 4 contracts, then I'd take one runner. Or if you went over to, say, micros, you could split 2 contracts up into 4, couldn't you? Or the equivalent of, and trade it that way. But I'm not a massive fan of runners going for 2 points. Because so many times I see people take runners and like 1 in 4, they might make a few points, 3 or 4 points. So, whether it's worth it or not. But obviously you got to judge the context of the market. If we're in a strong uptrend and you get a perfect leg down here, then, a runner may be worth it. But, trading in a small area where, where top and bottom it's 5 points, maybe not worth it. So they don't interest me so much at the moment. Maybe if, I eventually got up to, 4 contracts at some point in the future. They've got their merit, haven't they? But you need to know what you're doing, don't you? So it's not something for me at the moment. But if I do grow, but I think I have seen a couple of people do. Some people do. It depends. I mean, if you scalp a point and then take the second one as 2 points, then yeah, I get that. But there's so many different ways of doing it. Okay, so we've had an overshoot, break new high. We often do that before we come down then, or at least have a correction. So I believe when we have an overshoot, we either have a correction, a reversal, or on the odd occasion, it'll come down and just carry on. But Dre, how you doing, bud? But I think the more you trade, you just have a feel for what's better for you. You know what I mean? I like to get in and out. The trouble is, sometimes you hold on a long time with these runners. If anything goes wrong, you're sort of stuck. I kind of like the fact that I'm in and out and I'm done. I don't like to hang around. Yeah, a lot of that sort of thing is a personal choice, really, isn't it? Some do, some don't. I don't think there's any chance of a bigger channel there. That's a sure, really. I like that because we've, this first sort of couple of swings have been within this bottom tier, and then we pushed up and it's working really nice. Sat on the middle line and sat on the top, which tells me this is valid. So there's a lower high there, so I would expect that to push back to that. So that might not be terrible for a point scalp, at least back to the EMA. I'm not getting involved, but I would say that would be a point scalp for sure. Okay, let's see what happens. That's why I don't counter trend trade, but I would say that's good for a point. Mind you, I have seen Mac counter trend trade in the past with an overshoot. I saw him take a short on one of his older videos after an overshoot. It's actually quite a small bar as well, that is. It's not a lot to risk. Yeah, putting now from top to bottom. Okay, that's showing me all the right signals. Yes, you'd have made a point scalp on there. Okay, so let's continue that up in a minute. So, overshoot. And it often does that. Overshoot makes a new high. And then I can see a correction now. So I'm looking for something along the lines of that. Something like that. Not that little bit. I might leave that on there. If that follows that exactly, that's going to make me look really good in it. Something like that I'd like to see. Come on, follow my line. Make me look good. So for me, that's definitely an overshoot. You may have this drawn differently, but when you see Mac always usually goes off these first sort of couple of swings. You touch twice there, touch there. You can adjust that ever so slightly. See what happens anyway. So there's the first leg. And I might see it pull up a bit and then come out again. Okay, so I got it wrong about tomorrow. I had an email from the CME group. There is trading till 12 midday tomorrow. And half a day. I thought it was actually shut and half a day. Having said that, volume would be low. I'm not even going to bother. I've tried before trading on day. It's like watching paint dry, but one arm time behind your back. It's just not worth it. So I'm not even going to bother trading tomorrow. Or Friday. It's just not worth it. In fact, I might even have my own Thanksgiving, as I'm part American now. I feel like I've been adopted. So, first leg. Let's see. We want another leg now. What I'd like to do is trap some longs, and that'll give us the momentum for our second leg down. I want a higher low here. So I want it to come down here, higher low. That'll trigger some longs in there. Push up, trap them, come down quite quickly, get us, hopefully, below there. In fact, let me get that thing right. Be something like that. Some run about there. Oh, don't do that. That's annoying. Something like that anyway. Leg and a leg. Okay, something like that. So far, so good. We're on course to do it. We just need to get at the bottom. See, tell that's an overshoot in my opinion because it's fitting beautiful there, and every time it's just come back to the midline and carried on. And then we get an overshoot and look. Straight back to this side and then straight out. So you get used to seeing the pictures. Now, it could end up in a full reversal, or we could have another leg. I'm obviously, based on my drawing there, I'm hoping we get another leg because that's what I want to get in. News at the top. Ah, good point. Where's the news? 8 minutes. Bloody, I'm glad you said that. Where's me? Here it is. I forget. I keep forgetting. Laufey, how you doing, bud? Thanks for that, Robin. I'm glad you reminded me. Even though I've got a great big red thing on the front, I still forget sometimes. Okay, so there's a first leg, there's a second leg. So we can get rid of that now. So leg and a leg. Now we're either going to push up into another leg or start to come down. NQ just flushed. Yeah. Sani told me about a month ago when we were at 420 that the next target will be 478. I shorted that when I came down 10 points best trade. Really? He knows what he's doing, doesn't he? How long has he been trading for? What? He clearly knows what he's doing, doesn't he? Yeah. See, if someone has a good record, then yeah, sometimes it's worth a punt. At the end of the day, it's a punt for you, but it's a punt on a guy who clearly knows what he's doing. I mean, that first time we had him on, he got about 8 or 9 in a row, didn't he? And they were fair distance moves as well, so he obviously knows what he's doing. Years and years, yeah. Figured out something about market movements. Yeah, it's like Max says, it's chart time, isn't it? The more time you spend seeing this, you'll just understand how it go, what happens, how it works. But yeah, he clearly knows what he's doing. You can tell that straight away. Okay, so feels good to add 500. Yeah, absolutely. Well, who is Sally? I like the first one, Kev. Keep the first one there. Where who is Sally? Much better, that one. He was on here he came on here for a while, didn't he? To be fair, well, I'm not going to say because I feel bad. I got rid of him initially because I was starting to just. It was my fault, and then we had him back, didn't we? It was. I think it was veering away from. I was in a bit of a sort of vulnerable state at the time, I think, and I followed a couple of his trades and fell flat on my face. Well, I didn't follow his trades. I just took a silly risk. It was my own fault. But then we opened him back up, actually. He's a nice guy, actually. He could have. I said, do you want to come back? He could have said, no, shove it, you got rid of it. But he didn't. He was nice and polite, so he's okay, actually. But that was me. That was my sort of... that was me, that. Okay, so quite a big drop, actually. What's that? 5, 10, 15, 20 point drop pretty quick. I wonder why. I mean, there was an overshoot, clearly, so obviously that can result in a full reversal. I mean, they don't get any more full reversals than that. So we've certainly even come back more than 50% of it. So let's have a look. Where do you consider the overnight highs? Probably here, wouldn't you? maybe here, I don't know. Friday, pointless to trade also. Yeah, I thought the market was shut tomorrow, but I had an email from the CME group that says it finished. I think it finishes at midday tomorrow, and then it's back open at 5 Eastern time, and then I think it finishes 12:30 on the Friday. But it's no point. It's no point. I mean, it's a big holiday in the US, isn't it? And you know, if you get the institutional traders, it's just not worth it. Us mere mortals just don't move the market quick enough, really. We need those big pockets, don't we? So it's going to be dead, so I'm not going to bother. I don't like not trading. I like to trade, but, you know, as I'm getting a bit more experience, I'm realising sometimes it's just not worth it. It is like watching paint dry. I've never been a paint watcher, so... So let's have a look at this. So that to me is a channel. That's a break. So I mean, let's forget this bit. If we come from here, there's a leg, and there's a leg. In fact, just take that a bit higher. Maybe. There's sort of a leg and a leg, so there is a possibility we could go up. So bearing in mind that news is coming up in a minute and a half. I forgot initially, but I'll put that there, a minute and a half. So just beware if you're in a trade now or you're looking to get in a trade. I'd sit tight. Trading forced me to turn into a monk. The first 4 hours a day. Yeah, we've all had that, I think, haven't we? I would say I turned into a miserable monk. I'll get one step further. I got to say, I'd say not so much lately, but I had about 12 months where I was just one miserable bastard in all, if I'm honest. I used to get a bit miserable and snappy at home. Not so much now. It's all into a monkey. I used to be miserable. I did go miserable, I got to say. And then my wife said to me, "You're really miserable and snappy lately." And I felt like saying to her, "You tried to learn to trade." But I'm not so bad lately. I'm not so bad. Okay, news. Where are we? 30 seconds. So this is what I was hoping. Leg, push up, higher, low. So I'm hoping we're going to push up, a couple of legs back, and then continue up. But obviously we've got this news that could make us all miserable. But 15 seconds. So if you're in a trade now, start panicking. My monkey phase was in the beginning when I kept blowing. Yeah, it definitely affects your mood trading, doesn't it? Especially in the early, those sort of early couple of years. Okay, news. Nothing major, I don't think. Consumer sentiment. So, channel break. Now, let's see if this traps some shorts. I'd like to see that trigger and then shoot up. Leg. So, nothing major from the news, I don't think, in all fairness. Let's get that away a minute. Okay, so nothing really. You wouldn't even really notice, would you? We've had a break. Whether you call that a break or one big channel, I tend to assume it's a break. It just keeps me on that safer side. But I don't think it's a bigger channel. It may be, but I don't know. No, I like to assume it's a break, just in case. Okay, so surprising, really, after this good strong push up. Obviously, the overshoot created it, but I I was looking for 2 legs of correction, but not downward one. Not this far down. Okay, so that can go now. Okay, so there is a possibility of a bigger channel there. So that's a possibility. Soon after the news, he kept slowly moving down after the breakdown trend. You say shorting as a first entry short. It's decent trade. You know about that one there? First entry. Yeah, we can't take first entries. In fact, technically it was a second entry because you got one break below, but that's one leg to me. So, trouble is, it's been such a strong uptrend. So you never know whether we're going to have 2 legs and push up. Sometimes I find these trends where they have a break and come up to there are not as reliable as they used to be. That's the sort of feeling I get. But it was such a strong trend. I was quite surprised it did that. But there's a possibility overall it could be just a range day. You never know. See, sometimes they'll work, but it hasn't made a new high there. And it does really look like one leg. I mean, you could argue, you could break it into 2, but it's sort of one leg really, and then it just drops. So trouble is, what I've found over the last 3 years I've been trading is no matter how attractive it looks sometimes, if it doesn't follow your rules, you've just got to leave it, let it go. Now, it may work, but what I find is if I take a risky trade and it loses, it does me more psychological damage because I knew I really should have left it. And if it works, sometimes it reinforces bad habits. So for me, I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. I've always been the same. So I find if it doesn't fit things exactly or near as, I've had to learn to find a little bit of balance. But if it doesn't follow me rules straightforward, I have to leave it, because if I take it and it stitches me up, I just give myself mental torture, and it's not worth it. You know what I mean? I get some people are a little bit more risk averse, and that's fair enough. Everyone's different. Some people will rather take more trades. They might have a slightly less sort of win percentage, but overall, it doesn't really change. So, but obviously we're all different. But I do find I'm a bit of an all or nothing person. So I think for me, I'm best off just following the rules, because I do give myself mental torture. Because if something tells me I shouldn't really be taking this and I take it, I find that hard to deal with. So for me, it's just easy to say no. You know what I mean? It was an eval. It was an eval, yeah. I mean, some people say treat evals the same. I don't. I don't think you can. So if it's an evaluation, yeah, I'll take a risk. At the end of the day, of an evaluation, as I know it doesn't sound right, but evaluation's $15. But obviously, when I got onto real money on a PA account, I treat things differently. I'm a lot more strict. So, I think a lot of people will take something on an evaluation which they wouldn't take on a PA account. I think it's human nature, isn't it? Did you ever have a better win? Yeah, my win percentage at the moment is about 80%. Might be a bit more than 80%. 80-something percent. No, I don't have that. Why is it asking me to log in? No, I have a better rate. Okay, so at the moment my win percentage is 87%. There's my trades there. So nice sort of equity curve. But yeah, at the moment it's 87, just over 87%. And and my average profit is over 2 points, a little over 2 points. The downside to that, looking at that, is I see 80%. I don't want to lose now, so sometimes I'll take a bit less points. Sometimes, a couple of times I've took a point or less, because a point is still a win. You know what I mean? So sometimes it gets me out of trades earlier than I probably should. But it's a bit of a novelty at the moment using that, because I've only just started using that, 5-6 weeks ago. So it's a bit of a novelty. And once you get quite a good win rate, you want to try and keep it. Ultimately, it's not as important, because if you're going for 4 points and you've got a win rate of 70%, you're still probably earning more than me, so it's not as important. But, the trouble is, once you start these things, if you've done a 5K in so many, 30, 40 minutes or whatever, you want to try and keep your record, don't you? 87% for how many trades? I think there's 28, 26, something like that. Let me have a look. 31 trades. 31 trades. Now, what I've done, though, now I've got 2 PAs. If I win a trade on one, it goes down as 2. So you might think, well, yeah, but if you're winning one trade, you put 2 down. But if I lose 2, if you see what I mean. So it works out exactly the same. What's your average losing points? My average, I don't know, actually. I don't know how that worked out, how to tell you. I would say, on average, it's probably somewhere around about the 2 3/4 points, I think. You still using Trade Sync for capturing your stats? It does all sorts, mate. I haven't even scratched the surface yet. But I worked out about a week and a half ago, my average win was 2.4 points. Trouble is, you take a 4 or 5 point win, it bumps it up. But to be honest with you, I'm happy with 2 points. So, just did 100-day back test and I feel enlightened. Yeah, do you know what? I think it's absolutely imperative to have some. Just look what's going on here. To have some sort of trading journal that works it out, because a couple of people said to me, "What's your win rate?" and I didn't have a clue. But at least now, what's more important? It's all right, I was just looking at sideways here. I was looking at that bearish bar there, but it's not quite close enough for me. A lot of times in these trends, it'll go sideways up until sorry. It'll go sideways until it gets to this line, and then when you get a decent bearish bar, but it's not quite close enough. What is the software that you are using that shows your win percentage? It's called TraderSync. TradeSync. Let's have a look. Yeah, TraderSync. That's it there. But yeah, it shows your win percentage. Shows you there's all sorts of stuff. It shows you, overview, which shows you how your equity curve's working. It shows you all sorts. But it's important to know these things, because if before I did that, if I had let's say one bad day, that would be how I am as a trader, when really it's not important. Your equity curve, it means everything. It doesn't matter what happens in a bad day or a couple of bad days. It makes no difference as long as your equity curve is slowly going up. That says what you are as a trader. There is, in fact, there's a better offer on at the moment, I think. Let me have a look. I had an email. Where's my email? There's an offer on at the moment, a better offer. Let me have a look. Where is it? Let's have a look. Is it in junk? I can't find it now. I think it's like 60% off or something. I had an email yesterday. Let me have a look. There or there? I'll tell you what, I'm getting so many of these scam emails at the moment, especially now Christmas is on the way. I can't find it now, but there's a. Wouldn't have deleted it, would I? No, I can't remember now. Where's my code? It's up here somewhere. 50% off. It's a little bit more than that now, I think. Yeah, you can download it for a week and then try it, but I've got a code here for 50% off. But I've got a funny feeling it's 60% off. And that's off the annual subscription, which you pay monthly. The Pro one is ample, and I think it works out at about $12 a month, something like that. That's interesting. Touch, 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 touch. But yeah, you can download it for a week and have a go at it. But there are others. There's TradeZella. There's a bunch of them. Well, there's only two I know, in all fairness. But I want to know, what do you guys use for ATR? That there. I think it's 20 odd days. Let me have a look. I'll tell you. Okay, there's a break out of this, but I'm not a massive fan of that bar. I think it's on Max, isn't it? Pat's toolbar. Let's have a look. ATR period 21 days. 21 days ATR. I'm not sure about that. I'm not even sure about that, actually. No. Forget the bigger trend. We got a channel down there. We got a break and a new low sideways now. So, leg. It could be two legs. They're not the best legs in the world, but legs nonetheless. Leg. So we could push back up. So I'm just sitting tight here now. Where would you guys consider the overnight highs? Somewhere around about here. What I will say is there's clearly some support there and some resistance there, which is struggling to get above. But it's definitely important you get something. It will help your mindset. It's made a difference on mine, because if I get a bad day, I'll just go and look at my equity curve, and that is the true representation of my trading. And it goes up like that. And that's all that's important. You look at anyone's equity curve, you'll have drops, but it's important that you just keep coming back and you keep playing the game, but you play it right, and your equity curve will go up. If it doesn't, you're just lacking a bit of skills, which comes in time. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay to admit that. So that to me is a channel. We've had a break, whatever you call it, and we've come down at a new low, and we've sort of bottomed out. So Okay, interesting. Okay, I think there's a fair chance now we can get down here. I'd like to come back and retest this. Let's get rid of that. So we don't get a bigger range again. Yeah, to be fair, it's a fair size range anyway. What is it? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35. Nearly 40 points. That's enough of a range. That is to get plenty of trades in anyway, so. Are you on about here? Yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, we don't want that again, do we? It's been doing that a lot lately, isn't it? We had a section of it there, a section of it there. Was it the day before that as well? Where was that? There. That was horrible, that one. It just seemed to keep going on forever. So, leg. Break. Trouble is, it's so dangerous trading this. You can really get stitched up. Yeah, sometimes you're better off just letting it go. Inventories at 10. Yeah, there's 2 more days also of that Replicanto sale, 40% off. It's just from the 20th to the 24th, or is it 22nd? So there's 2 more days on that. 40% off takes it down to $120. So if you're interested in that, my code's down there. If you use it or you have, it's appreciated. And also the 90% off as well. That finishes in another 6 days. Should take us close to the end of the month. Let's have a little look. The one I took, no, it was an evaluation. Yeah, I wouldn't take a trade like that on a PA. I don't mind taking slightly riskier stuff. Trades that I have a gut feeling for. But on my PA, I don't tend to use the gut. I use my gut feeling to stay out of them, but not to get in them. I just tend to just follow the rules, and that's it. Right, I could do with something bearish here. Trap some shorts and then have another leg up. Mind you, I start huff when I say traps and shorts. The trouble is, it's sort of more inexperienced traders that sort of fall foul to them, which I sort of still consider myself as. But sometimes you rely on these moves to help you get off in another direction. But I like to think the people that are getting trapped are the people that are at least know what they're doing, but trying to maybe just take a bigger move. You think? Let's have a look. I'm not sure about that. Let's have a look. I did have it there. It could be. Trouble is really to get a. Well, yeah, I suppose I did have it there, but I got rid of it after a while. I mean, it's irrelevant anyway, isn't it? Took that second entry short, film breakout. That one there. I think that's one you mean, isn't it? Yeah, at the time I had that further, the top of this lower down. So, what I'd like to see is something like that. Sometimes you feel as if the market is playing against you personally. It went down, took my peer account, and then returned to the starting point. Yeah, we've all been there, bud. See, what I will say is when you start getting into trading, you start reading books and this, that, and the other, and they say people have, thoughts about the market's against you when it's not. I disagree with that. I think the market is in a strange way because it basically seeks out weak positions, doesn't it, really, and takes them. So, so I think the market is out to get you in a strange way. But yeah, I know what you're saying. It is frustrating, isn't it? How many times have you been stopped out by a tick? You've gone all in and you've moved your stop and it comes down, stops you out by a tick or two, and then ends up going in the same bloody direction. Yeah, excuse me a sec. Yeah, it is frustrating. It is frustrating. Yeah, I've lost many accounts like that. Okay, so this is what I'm looking for. Leg up, a couple of legs back. Looking for a higher low here now. That's a short on goal last week. Top tick stopped out. Yeah. See, sometimes in certain circumstances, I give myself an extra tick, and sometimes that helps you because a lot of the times it takes you out for one tick and then goes in the direction. So sometimes I'll add a tick. It depends. Usually on trends, actually, I add a tick. Sometimes it's saved me in the past a few times. Okay, so we got a break of that, made a new high. Let's have a look. See, I put my channel there before this happened, but look where it's done. Look what it's done. It's hit me exactly where I put that channel. That channel was put when we were still up here. So it just goes to show after a while you start to get to sort of work out where the channel's going to go, and you can be pretty accurate about it. Okay. So far, right up to the top. So that's shown me all the good signs. So it's come down now. Excuse me, just a sec. Sorry about that. Wife come in, told me I was amazing. I might have lied there. Okay, so leg and a leg. It's doing what I thought it would do, but it needs to come back here and give us an option. Wake up, yeah. I am dreaming a bit, aren't I? Oh, she just came in and demanded, "Where's my dinner?" And no, she just finished work and came in. We had a bit of hard work with my daughter this morning. She's getting very headstrong at the moment. 15-year-old teenager. Nice thing. Yeah, I wish. No, I don't drink and trade. I've done that before. It never ended well. I don't know how to open a bottle of... I remember, actually, I opened a bottle of Balvenie, 12-year-old Balvenie on the stream, at the end of the stream. I think it was on a Friday. And I popped it open, and one guy said, "I've been listening quietly in the background for the last 6 months," and he said, "I heard that cork go," and it pricked my ears up. So I had one, and there was an offer at the time, 90% off. So after about 2 hours, I'd had about 6 doubles and blown about 10 evaluations. So yeah, I don't do that anymore. It was an interesting experience, but I don't do it anymore. Yeah, don't drink and train. I just thought, actually, it might take the stress out of it. Well, it sort of does, but it has the opposite effect. Yeah. Oh, yeah, mate, your affiliate code's gone mad. At times, yeah, you've done well out of me, mate, you have. I might help pay your mortgage at times. Yeah, you've done well out of me, you have. Yeah, I have, yeah. I've kept the Scottish economy going at times, that's for certain. Yeah, I've been using your code for the last year or so, I think, at least. FIFE, capital letters, yeah. Remember we said 50-50? Ooh, maybe get a second entry. Ooh, come on. That'd be nice. Play. Yeah, it works, doesn't it? That does.